you had 1 month to live, if you really got serious about this. I was thinking about this, and I think that, you know, you've seen all the little video clips, the guy that wanted to eat more donuts. You can do that with it. You've probably got 1 week to live if you eat like that, and you can eat donuts anyhow. You don't need to wait till you've got a terminal sentence on you, you know, to do. And I think of all those things, you know. Then I think about this because I have a brother who 2 years ago was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and that will take him out eventually, the cancer. And in fact, they gave him a much shorter prognosis than 2 years. But a cheerful heart is good medicine, and he's not a believer, but he's got a cheerful heart. They keep him going for a lot longer. A lot of misery cups people, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, they give him chemotherapy once a fortnight through a little stent in his arm here. Well, on Thursday they did surgery and take the stent out. That was easy, but to put a port in here so they can just pump the chemo in. Well, during the surgery on Thursday, he had a little episode, and they thought it was like a massive heart attack. But he rang me at 6 o'clock Thursday night from the hospital and told me nothing wrong with me. Just me a little episode. Well, it was a heart deal, that's for sure. And I was thinking about that, and thinking, we think if I've got 1 month to live, what will I do? I'll jump out in an aeroplane, I'll do this, I'll go outsailing, I'll go to Paris, I'll go to Greece, I'll go to Italy, I'll eat donuts, whatever it is. What about if someone close to you has 1 month to live? Yeah. Will you share the gospel with them? And when you think about, maybe that could be anyone, because you don't know. You just don't know what truck might come around the corner. We started this campaign on Sundays, because we do it Sundays, we do it your daily reading, and if you've got the book, we'll plough through this, just keep on going through it, because it's so good. It kind of overlaps with what we talk about here, and then we do it in our connect groups, our small groups on midweek, and that kind of connects again. Some of you think, oh man, that's repetitive. That's because we need to have it repeated to us, because that's how we are. We just need to, you know, to hammer that nail enough and it might go in, and like that. But we began our Sunday presentation with the Nickelback song. I just want to remind you of that, because it just gives it more of an urgency than 1 month to live. It's kind of like 24 hours. My best friend gave me the best advice. He said, each day is a gift and not a given right. Leave no stone unturned, leave your fears behind, and try to take the path less travelled by. That first step you take is the longest stride. If today was your last day and tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye to yesterday? Would you live each moment like your last? Leave old pictures in the past, donate every dime you had if today was your last day. If today was your last day, would you make your mark by mending a broken heart? You know it's not too late to shoot for the stars regardless of who you are, so do whatever it takes, because you can't rewind a moment in this life. Let nothing stand in your way, because the hands of time are never on your side. 30 days to live. 30 days to live. What would you do? What will you do? What will you do? Maybe apologize to someone that you need to say sorry to. You know, maybe. Maybe say thanks to someone that you need to express thanks to. Maybe make sure that your kids and the next generation are put in such a good position because of the positive investment that you make today. How about that one? How about wherever you've made a serious blunder, don't stay down. Get up and get going for God. How many of you know that God is the God of the new beginning? No? Right? How many of you have ever needed a new beginning after some kind of crash or failure or major blunder? That's all right. Just keep that to yourself. Share with something like that. Because I think we all have. I was 17 when I left my native Queensland and went south across the border into New South Wales. I lived for a little while, and then I went to Victoria and I stayed there for a year or so, where I was introduced to the football game that we now call AFL. And then I travelled to WA, and I think it was probably the first Christmas I went back home to Queensland to see my parents. I was 18 by then, and I had 5 younger, impressionable brothers living on the farm, and I came home, the 18-year-old, and on that farm in Queensland we had, here's the picture, right, we had the old Dodge Ute. Isn't that a ripper? That was old then, and it used to be a sedan actually, and as farmers do, we cut the back bit off and welded on the tray and did a bit of timber work on there, and it needed new rings, and for those who don't know what that is, that's something you put on the pistons to tighten them up, and whoever had done the job had made them so tight that you couldn't start with the key with the starter motor, and so no one ever started. Until Gordon came home at 18, and Gordon wanted to drive that ute. So Gordon got my 12-year-old brother Graham to tow it with the tractor coming up, tractor up there in the top left-hand corner, and also there. And he towed me, and I was in there, and I jump-started the thing, and the whole idea was to bless the family and to drive that thing around until the rings and the pistons all set in, which will happen after you've used them for a while. And so I did, and back to the ute. I think the ute's a better picture than that. And thank you. And I drove that thing around, and 5 younger brothers in there. And you've got to understand, as you can see by that, this is pre-digital colour camera days. This is like your Brownie box camera, and it was pre-seatbelt days. And 5 boys in there with me in the car. And I drove round and round on the ploughed paddock near the house, kicking up as much dust as I could, round and round in circles, round and round, and these guys hanging on, and they were screaming in delight for Then I go down the hill, about 2 k's down the hill, down near the old well, and go round and round in the long grass, and then back up the hill again, round and round near the house, and there's dust going everywhere. And Mum and Dad are so pleased with me. he's making a better use of that ute. And down, round and round, down the hill, round around the long grass. I must have done it more than a dozen times, and probably on the 13th times when I found the stump. And at a great rate of knots, you can understand, hit it head on in the long grass, no seatbelts, and my brother Graham, who was over here, surprised me with a surprise visit just a week or so ago from Queensland. Still got that chipped tooth where he hit the windscreen. And one of my other brothers, a great lump on his head, and the other brother was just freaking out there in the ute as it came to a grinding halt. And I was the only one that never hit my head on the windscreen. I was hanging on the steering wheel, so I don't think I'll ever the same again. And at every family reunion, that story is told and retold. And I rang 2 of my brothers yesterday to tell them I'll be telling this story, and they'll be able to get it on YouTube and get the real story here. But every family reunion, the story is told about this smart aleck 18-year-old that was travelling around Australia and bobbed into Perth and then came back home and thought he could show everyone how to drive the ute. Well, my question this morning is, what do you do when you have a crash? Now, I'm not talking about the old 1929 Dodge Ute. What do you do when you've had a crash in life where you do some dumb thing and you fail and you fall down? Everyone is bound to have a crash somewhere in life and fall down. What are you going to do? You know, it's not just about utes and cars and things like that. It's about moral mistakes. It's about leadership crashes. It's about business crashes. It's about relational crashes.